Yeah, no, it is. It's a long process. Excited for the game to get here. You know, you kind of hit this point in any of these bowls. I'd probably, especially a playoff, you're just kind of ready for it to be here. So we've prepared well, confident in the way our teams approach this entire month. We've had a great week here so far, but can't wait for Saturday night.
No issues last night with the and Joe's or anything for you?
No, we were all good. Yeah, I had a great night.
What, they had a special menu for you, or what did you get to eat that?
Yeah, we had to no shellfish for me, so we did some steak and some salmon. So it was good. Luckily, they got a lot of great things on that menu.
I think it was the fact that they got some great passing out of Hurts in the SEC championship game. Make it more if he plays, does it make it more of a not as big a difference between them and Tua from passing standpoint?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair to say. You know, I think Jalen, it looks like, has really developed as a thrower as well, and so. Yeah, certainly it makes them, even more difficult to defend, kind of regardless of who's out there. So, it looks like they're comfortable running, the full offense with both of the guys.
Lincoln, you talk about coming back to this position so many times. And not that it's a must, but how big would it be for this program to finally kind of move on to a championship scenario?
Yeah, I don't know. Finally, this program's been in a lot of championships, but yeah, sure. It's really tough to get here. It's great being here, but we expected to win the first two that we were in, and we expect to win this one, and so we've always approached it that way. We know we're playing a great opponent, just like we have here the first couple of times that we've been in these playoffs. That's what they're about. We've been really close, and certainly we want to finish the deal, but not for what's happened in the past, just for this team right now. What's in the past is in the past, and this team right now has a chance, as good a chance as anybody, and we want to take advantage because we do know how hard it is to get here.
For you as a coach, you start out as a coordinator, then you're head coach. How much just has this program learned about being in this situation in the playoffs?
Yeah, you've learned a lot. Even like a day like today, you don't do this at any other bowl game anywhere. There's just some different things that go with these playoffs. The build-up seems like the entire country, is focused on two games for about 30 days, and so there's a lot of attention, a lot of build-up, a few different things that you have to do as far as handling it. I think our team's ready. None of this is new for us. The schedule, the early signing day, all that we talked about back in Norman is still a big factor, and handling all that. And I think we're more equipped to do it than we've ever been.
How confident are you in Hollywood's ability to play and at a top level?
Wow, we'll see. We'll see. That's those things are what they are. He's battling, so we'll see where he's at Saturday.
Coach, when people hear Hollywood Brown, I think they assume Hollywood, California, not
yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
Just what has he meant to your team?
Oh, he's meant a ton. His growth has been as much as anybody I can remember in such a short amount of time. Keep in mind, last year, even about halfway throughout the season, he was a reserve for us. He was a 2, and really took off the second half of last year. Has gained confidence. He's continued to practice hard, practice fast, plays that way. Been very coachable, and he's just continued to get better and better. So he's been one of the more explosive players in the country now for about a year and a half, and it's been a huge part of our offense.
Is he overexcited, or how do you temper maybe a kid who's coming home, playing home in a game like this, this big? How do you handle something like that?
Yeah, he's certainly excited to be here. We've got a couple of guys from the South Florida area that are certainly happy. We don't play a ton of games over here, and so to be back home for them is great. But he's been in big games, kind of like the team. I think he's ready to handle it.
Is that going to be special for the team to practice in this high school?
Yeah, I think they'll enjoy that. They've been hearing about how great it is. So there's a lot of back and forth. Texas high school football, Oklahoma high school football, California high school football, Florida high school football. We've got so many, but there's a lot of back and forth on the team. So they've had some fun ribbing each other about that. But I know what a pretty cool memory for that kid to be able to come back, here towards the end of his season and practice at his high school.
With Marquise emotionally dealing since the injury between then and now of trying to get good to play, not just to play in the playoffs, but obviously this game means a lot to him being where it is. How has he emotionally handled that process?
I think it's been fun. I mean, I don't know if it's added anything extra. I mean, he was going to rehab and push as hard as he could anyway to be in this game, whether it was played here or on the moon. So, I mean, it's I think he's excited about playing at home, but I don't know that's had a big factor on his rehab or his approach to it. I think he's motivated for this team and wants to help us win a championship. Oh, just a collective effort of a lot of people, that's made it work. A great offensive staff here these years, a great staff that hung in there when the transition happened between Bob and I 2 years ago now. We've had a lot of great players, a lot of great support from administration. It takes a lot of people, but the meshing of this people, of these people that we have has worked. And so you got to give credit to everybody. A moment of doubt. I mean, I thought we could be good, but I think as we started to get going there about midway through that first year, you started to see what we were capable of, and then each group with new players each year has been able to build on it. So it's been a good run.
What impressed you the most about the way Coach Saban goes about his business? I'm not talking about bottom line, just the way he does it.
Probably how he recruits, and he seems their program's very steady. He seems, at least from the outside, I don't have an insider's view, but it seems like he's got a pretty steady demeanor. Their program reflects that, a lot of consistency within that program. But I mean, at the end of the day, they've got really, really good players because they recruit well, and they've been able to recruit well for a long period of time, and those strong signing classes have stacked upon each other. And then on top of that, he's got a really good staff. The guys are well coached. So I mean, they have all the ingredients to be a really good football program, and they've done that.
He had a dalliance in the NFL here, in fact. As somebody in the profession, a young guy rising in the profession, do you take anything from that? Is that something you look at and process at all, or does it mean anything to you in any way?
No, just because I don't have firsthand knowledge of it. If he was somebody I was close with or confident, or maybe, but there's a million things that go into making it work at Alabama or the Miami Dolphins or LSU or wherever you're at. So no, I don't read too much into it.
Coach, you've talked recently about how the excitement surrounding this program now, but how there's a higher level you see OU football going to. Is Alabama part of that picture as far as what they've done? Is that kind of what you see for OU in the future?
Oh, I mean, I would never say anybody exactly because I think each program's in a different scenario, but you can't ignore the success that they've had and how consistent that they've been. And so I think there's a lot of things that they do in their program that are outstanding that I think any program in the country would want to do or try to have the same type of success or setup. But at the end of the day, each place is different. Each place has different resources in a different part of the country, kind of has their own path to success. So we're just trying to be the best Oklahoma that we can be, and we think that this thing can continue to get a lot better.
Do you have any relationship with Saban in the past?
No, not much. We've met at these playoff functions here the last few years. Before the press conference in Atlanta, they stick all four of us in a glass room for like an hour. I'm not really sure what the point of that is, but so it's actually kind of fun. We get a chance to talk with no cameras or nobody else there. So I've got to speak with them a few times there, but that's really the extent of it.
Sometimes programs, when they face Alabama, can be enamored with it before you even get on the field. Is that something you try to steer away from, or you embrace the fact that you're playing a team or a program that has had so much recent success?
We certainly have a lot of respect for Alabama, but we don't really care who we walk on the field with. That's always been this program's mentality, regardless of who's been here.
Coach, a lot's been made about the quarterbacks in this game, but maybe the running game's being overlooked a little bit, and that's something that's been so balanced for you guys. How important is that in this game, having that same pass-run balance, maybe going over 300 yards in both departments like you have?
Well, it's definitely it's important for us every week. I don't know it's any more important this week than it always is. It's always a huge part of our offense. We always believe in running the football. Helping that set up the rest of our game. It's been a big recipe for success for us. So, we're going to have to be able to do both well. These guys are certainly good enough defensively that's going to be an important key. It's something that we're, excited to get a chance to go do, but that's no different for us than any other week of the year.
Speaking on that defense, what has stood out most to you about Alabama's defense?
Really good scheme and really good players. One of the best defensive linemen that you'll ever play against, and very good other defensive linemen as well, without a doubt. They're good everywhere. They don't have many holes. Got great players. Draft picks all over the place. Obviously coached up extremely well. So it'll be a fun challenge for us.
Lincoln, how much, when you look at your offensive line and games you've had, big games, Ohio State, Georgia last year, how much of kind of their intensity, just as individuals, kind of help carry you guys through offensively?
Yeah, it's been important. They expect to play well even against great teams and in great environments, and they do have an intensity and edge that you need to win and to play well in these games. And so, we certainly played pretty well in some of those settings. We'll need to do it again here Saturday.
Is that something that's kind of been passed down a little bit? You see like Orlando to maybe Drew to Ben Powers?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. And a lot of those guys kind of got in this situation when they were young players, Orlando and Drew were freshmen the first time we were here playing, and so they probably learned a lot and then have been able, like you said, to pass along to our guys, and our young guys have done a good job of responding and kind of building and learning from that.
I know you've talked about how much you enjoy the run game. Has it been, since you've been back with Bill, has it been kind of fun to kind of take in that part of the offense, maybe a little bit more? Definitely. We spend a lot of time on that. We have a lot of fun with it. We spend a lot of time trying to get our guys in the best position. But I've enjoyed it. And we got between Bill and Jay and Kale and Shane. We've got a good group in there that's got good experience and a lot of good ideas flowing through the room.
Hey, Lincoln, I noticed in recruiting that you guys had a lot of success recruiting DBs from outside of your traditional area of California, Florida, Tennessee. Is that because it's harder to find guys in the Midwest who, the great athletes you want to play on defense, or is it just, that those are guys that you had targeted for some reason?
Yeah, no, I think just targets. Really, our recruiting area right now is the entire United States. We've signed a ton of kids off both the East and West Coast here in the last few years, so they honestly kind of all feel like our home areas in a way. And so, just some guys that we targeted that we thought fit what we wanted and that we were able to bring home.
Do you feel like, the next couple of years, talent level on defense is going to be improved based on some of the guys that you've got?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure.
I felt like just with the way he had played in high school and what I'd seen that he would have a pretty good football mind, but you could tell he understood the game. He was raw when he got to us in a lot of ways, but the natural talent, both physically and mentally, was certainly there, and there was a lot to work with. And so he loves the X's and O's, the back and forth of it, and he's got a great feel for it. So probably appreciating his knowledge and natural feel for the game to go along with the physical abilities that everybody sees.
Like when you get 2 years in a row of guys, years at other colleges, come to Oklahoma and win a Heisman. Does that say more about your ability to see talent where it might have been overlooked elsewhere, or does it say more about the kind of development you guys have been able to have at Oklahoma for quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, you got to have guys that are capable, no doubt. But I would say probably just says more about the program as a whole. Being able to develop them physically, being able to develop them individually just as players, being able to surround them with other great players, because nobody wins the Heisman by themselves. You got to be on a winning team. You got to have other really good players around you, or you got no chance. And so, it's just been a good setting for those guys, and they've worked hard and taken advantage of it. And it's been a just kind of a great fit, kind of the perfect storm.
Is there an advantage to looking at that transfer pool for quarterbacks, and just because it's a bigger one now that the guys are declaring, as opposed to looking for the high school recruiting route for that next quarterback?
Yeah, it probably makes it all cleaner, but we've been a destination here long enough that if there was a good transfer quarterback out there, there was a pretty good chance we were going to get contacted in some form or fashion, or at least be aware of it.
Coach, what have you learned over the last couple of years, just taking over this job when you did, and you've been to 2 playoffs, you've had 2 Heisman Trophy winners. I'm sure it's a whirlwind just how fast it's gone and all the things you've done, but what do you think you've learned about this job over the last couple of years?
Oh, man. We got 30 minutes left on the clock. Yeah. I've learned, certainly a lot. Been in a lot of different experiences. You continue to evolve as a coach, learn about your team, your program, the areas that you're doing well, the areas that you think you can get better. And it's just kind of a constant race, just trying to catch up and be your best every day. But I've had a lot of fun with it, learning along the way, and hopefully continuing to, put this program in the best position we can.
What's it like coaching a kid like Kyler Murray? It just seems like the kid's got his stuff together. He manages baseball. He was a top 10 pick. Came to play football for you, won a Heisman Trophy. What's it like just managing and coaching a kid like that?
It's been a lot of fun. He's been fun really all 3 years. He's had a great attitude. He's worked hard. Certainly fun to work with somebody that has that kind of ability, but also that passion for getting better and learning, and is that coachable. So we've had a great relationship. It's been a fun ride here this year for him. And, it's, one of the unique things. You'll probably never go through the rest of your career and probably never have a guy like that or a situation like this again.
You had to make a tough choice midway through the season, and you make a coordinator change, and you go to Ruffin McNeil on your staff. How would you describe how that's come together over the last several months?
Yeah, Ruffin's done a great job, and our staff as well. Those things are never easy, especially when you're playing in the best offensive conference in college football and playing great offensive teams week in and week out. But our kids have responded, our coaches have responded. We've been able to run the table, with that happening, win some big games, made some critical plays in those games, especially here in the stretch run. So they've done a great job, and certainly got to be ready for the challenge here Saturday.
Coach, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Lincoln, how have you seen NFL scouts evolve their opinion on Kyler? He certainly fits a paradigm that may not, one NFL guy told me that Doug Flutie's the only guy his height to have played in the NFL. I'm just curious, as his performances built on each other this year, how you saw opinions change, when you're chatting with scouts on the sideline of practice.
Yeah, I think just kind of like the offenses that you're seeing in the NFL right now, I think that mindset's continuing to evolve, and people are starting to see. They've seen it with Russell, they've seen it with Baker, with Drew, all those guys, that you don't have to be 6'4" to be a great quarterback. A lot of times people take guys because they're 6'4" and they don't have the other things. And so this guy's a little different. He's got an athleticism that, even as good as a good athlete is like Russell is. He's not like this guy.
Yeah.
And so he's got that extra factor, as I think people are seeing as he's played against some of the best competition. It's a game changer. And so, I think they've certainly got an extremely high opinion of him. And I think he's going to have a chance to do whatever he wants to do when this thing wraps up.
Yeah. What do you think he does?
I don't know. I could see it going either way, honestly. As I said, I just want him to do what makes him happy.
Yeah. So we're at an interesting inflection point in football where offenses, obviously the 2 teams in this game led the nation in scoring, and if you look at the numbers, they've been ratcheted up over the past decade to a higher point. Do you think we're at a limit now, or do you feel like offensive football will keep expanding and defining the game like it has recently?
It'll be interesting. It's football normally kind of has its trends, its waves. So where's the end? Who knows? I think offenses are going to keep evolving, but defenses are too.
Yeah.
And so Is this the height of it? No, hard to say. You know, it's there's good coaches on both sides, so the back and forth is going to continue to be a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah. Do you feel like the offensive evolution we've seen in the NFL, especially the past couple of seasons, you look at the Super Bowl and you look at the Rams, Chiefs, whatever.
Sure.
Are you almost surprised it took this long for the NFL to have a little more diversity, just because it had been a good 15 years at the college level?
Should it have taken that long? No. Am I surprised? No. Yeah. Just it's NFL a lot of ways. I mean, if you look back at the history of it, it's a league that recycles the staffs. So you've had a lot of the same people that just change shirts every couple of years, and so. Yeah, as you've seen some guys get some opportunities there, you've seen them open up. And I do think in this age where film is so much easier to come by, a lot easier to study people, different leagues, different times, kind of whenever you want, that's probably made a difference too. But like anything, somebody finally tried it and had some success, and now the secret's out and everybody's caught on.
Sure. The sophistication you see at the high school level from 7-on-7 now, can you discuss that evolution? Because I feel like it's trickled up all the way
Sure.
from there.
No, it has. I think that's a factor. These guys are so much more prepared coming into our programs and then into NFL organizations. I think that's been a factor. And then also I think the new hour rules or the new time limits that NFL teams have. It's much more like a college or high school schedule now, in that you don't have just as many hours or unlimited hours that you want to teach a guy a brand new offense. And so if you want to draft a quarterback and guarantee him $30 million, do you want to teach him, wait for a couple of years for him to do something he hasn't done much of, or do you want him to do something he's pretty darn good at already? And so I think all those have been factors.
Yeah. Last question. Do you think Baker has helped Kyler in terms of the eyes of the NFL? Baker's success this season and his almost seamless adjustment, do you think that's almost like a case for Kyler in some ways?
I'm sure it's helped. It's guys coming out of a similar system, and you've seen that they've been able, and Baker didn't go into the most college-like system, in Cleveland, and still had a lot of success. And so there's probably systems out there that he could maybe have went into and had more success early. But he still had success. And so I think it shows probably any team out there that a quarterback from Oklahoma is going to transition to what they do pretty quickly.
Thank you.
You got it.
Do you think Alabama fatigue is real?
Alabama what?
Fatigue, that people are tired, or fans are tired of seeing Alabama here year after year?
I don't know. I'm probably a little too close to the fire to answer that question. I know we got a lot of people that want us to win this game. Is that part of it? I don't know, but they've got a great program. I mean, give it to them. I hope they get tired of us too.
You talk about being too close to the fire. Do you think that, in your mind, is the goal just to win a championship, or is there an exclamation point on it if you were to win it while beating Alabama?
Oh, I mean, goal is to win a championship, whoever we're playing. But I mean, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and they've certainly been, the standard here in college football for the last several years, no doubt. So does it matter at the end of the day? No, but does it seem appropriate that you'd have to go through them to get it done? Absolutely.
I want to go back to Baker really fast. When you saw the stare down viral clip, him walking past Hugh Jackson, knowing Baker as well as you do, was that surprising to you, or was that like, oh, that's quintessential Baker, competitive?
Yeah, that's him. That's just the way he plays. Was I surprised? No. I mean, that's him. Love it or hate it. And he's always been himself. That's not going to change.
If he did that to you, would you stare back?
I'd say something back.
Thanks.
You talked about the offenses, hobbies, colleges. I know you're obviously so early in your career, but is the NFL something that's intriguing to you one day, or you're curious about that you might it's all said and done?
It's not right now. I can't tell you how I'm going to feel in 10 years, but no, not right now. This is a different time and place, and if it was 20, 30 years ago where there was a big, some major differences, maybe. If I wasn't at one of the elite programs in the country right now, maybe, but no, I'm very happy where I'm at right now.
What do you think were the big differences, I guess, that years ago?
Well, I mean, you look at there's a lot of things. I think the way that the college game has evolved, the way that, financially it's a lot better situation now compared to where it was a lot of years ago when you compare it to NFL teams. And I think more than anything for me, we're just at a place we're happy, and don't take that for granted. Love coaching at Oklahoma, love coaching college football.
Against Georgia last year, what you guys were able to do, at least offensively, Does the team take something from that?
No. I mean, no matter what league you play, man, you just go play people that are out there. We've played. Georgia was a really good team and a really good defense. Through the last several years, we've played a lot of really good teams and really good defenses, regardless of what league they're in. So, no, that was a different team, different time. This is Alabama this year.
Thinking the Saban's changed coordinators twice now on the defensive side the last 2 years, getting head coaching jobs. Does their defense look the same, no matter who's got the title?
Oh, you can still tell who the big dog is. Yeah, no doubt. It's almost like Coach Snyder was, at Kansas State. Now, as coordinators change, not much changed, and so certainly on that side too, you would expect, which is obviously his bread and butter. So. There's a few things here and there, that have changed through the year. With maybe it's because of new players, maybe because of a new coordinator, but you certainly know they're never going to deviate far from, and why would they? I mean, they've been fantastic.
Have you been asked a lot about Golding because of all the speculation for the last month or two, and then the irony of playing against him in the bowl game?
No, it's the first time actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you know much about him?
Not much. I know he's had a pretty good track record. Obviously, he's done a great job there. But no, I don't know him personally.
Speaking of speculation, all the talk about the NFL and whether you're going or not, did you find yourself having to address that during the early signing period?
Yeah. No, I did. I mean, it was pretty upfront. Said what I've said 15 times that I've been asked about it since. I told them the truth. Told them. I love where I'm at right now, and I don't have that itch right now, and I fully plan on being at Oklahoma, and had great, honest, open talks with the recruits and their families. And I think by the way it went, you could see that they were all very comfortable with that.
How impressed have you been with the way that Saban's been able to sustain what he has? I mean, being in that profession, how difficult it is for coaches and players even to be able to sustain like he has. How impressive is that?
Yeah, probably more to me the last couple of years, when you become a head coach and you see all that it entails and just the challenges just every single day to having your program at a place like this, it's hard to do. And it's hard to do in 1 year. So now they've had a great run. They've had consistent recruiting. They've developed their players. They've been tremendous talent-wise, very good scheme-wise. I mean, they've had all the ingredients. The athletic department has really invested there. Given them everything they possibly need. And, it's been a great situation, and he's obviously been at the forefront of that.
How does the dynamic change when you get ready for the playoff and you have so much time to get ready as opposed to a week-to-week preparation?
Well, it's definitely different. It's not like you sit there for an entire month and game plan it like you would in 1 week. You've got a little bit more time, and especially with the early signing date, a good chunk of your time, at least the first half of that month, is going to go towards recruiting, and ours did. But it's certainly a little bit more time. It's a little more similar to being on a bye week, and having those 2 weeks. So it's fun, it's good, but we're kind of tired of watching Alabama film right now. We're ready to go play them.
As a competitor, I know the coaches preach consistency, but as a competitor, do you get fired up for the challenge of game planning to go up against an Alabama team like this?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are, they've been the standard here for the last several years, and had a great program. They've been great defensively, really taken some big steps offensively in the last few years. I mean, with quality of players and then what they do schematically, they challenge you as much as anybody you're going to play.
How do you measure your program? Is it by results in games like this, or are there smaller things along the way that you find as successes for steps forward?
Oh, there's a ton of ways to define success. I mean, on the field, we define it by championships. And so we've had a pretty good run of those. Giving yourself the opportunity to play in and win national championships. And then, the development of our guys, how much they're growing. Are you doing the right things day in and day out with your program, not just help you win, but to help these guys, help them grow as men? So there's a lot of different ways, but I think we're continuing to push like hell, but feel like we're heading in the right direction.
Has it helped Tyler to have watched all of this last year? Do you think that has any effect?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you used to kind of the circus that this playoff is and all the different things, but he's one of those guys, moments never really too big for him. I mean, he's through all this that he's gone through here in the last 6 months, it's kind of always been business as normal for him, and I don't think he's going to approach this one any differently.
It did sound, though, like the last few weeks have been a little something different. With all the airplane travel and the other places. I know, obviously, you've been through that before, too. Did you give him any hints on how to try to stay healthy and rested?
Yeah, no, we talked through it. You know, the award season run there, especially if you do win the Heisman, you know, that whatever it is, that Wednesday through Sunday is a pretty good grind. But yeah, it's able to get a chance to get some rest, get back to it. He's been fine. We've talked through how to handle it, learn a lot last year with Baker, but I don't have any concerns about him being ready.
And his health, he says he feels better at least.
Yeah, he's a little better today. Didn't feel very good yesterday, but he'll be ready Saturday night.
Lincoln, you've been around some pretty good ones at quarterback. Obviously, you have one right now. When you see two on the other side of this, just some things, characteristics, his in-game play that makes him special.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. He's fun to watch. Great command of what they're doing. You know, you can tell he really knows where he wants to go with the football. Obviously, a very gifted thrower. Probably a little bit of an underrated athlete. You know, size, his athleticism really shows up. And he seems to be a great leader. You know, got a chance to spend a little time with him in Atlanta and New York. Seems to be one of those guys that kind of has a very unique presence around him, which, you know, we've had a few guys like that in the past, and that certainly, especially at that position, makes a big difference.
Any similarities that you see with their offense and yours, especially on the perimeter with some of their wideouts, how dynamic they are relative to what you have in your room on the receivers end?
Yeah, no, there's some similarities, absolutely. You know, they've got, you know, a really good O-line. They're capable of running the football. They've got, you know, some great weapons on the outside that they, you know, put you in tough one-on-one situations that can really hurt you. So, yeah, no, there's definitely some similarities.
Both Tua and Jalen are dual threat guys. When you're game planning for both of them, do the similarities sort of make it easier to game plan for both guys? Or?
Yeah, that's fair to say. You know, it's not like one is just only a runner and one's only just a pocket thrower. So, yeah, they're not exactly the same, but it's probably not as big as a gap as maybe some of the other teams we played this year in other situations like that.
What have you seen from both of them on film that stands out? I mean, obviously, Tua is a Heisman candidate, fantastic quarterback. What have you seen from Jalen as well?
Yeah, like I said, just Tua's decision making, you know, throwing the football, he's been fantastic all year, taking care of the ball. Jalen, obviously, the athleticism shows up, but he's certainly, I think, improved as a thrower. Made some big throws for him there in the SEC championship game. Two guys that are experienced. They're both winners. They're both very, very capable of leading that offense, which it's rare to have two on one team. Oh, it's been a game changer for us, really. I mean, that's, you know, he's probably the biggest difference, you know, both from this year to maybe comparing our whole line to other years. Is, I mean, he's a dominant center, and you don't come across those very often in coaching. It's just difficult position to do, especially to do it as a freshman. The way he's done has been huge for our group. It's I think made us tougher to defend.
He came in as one of the strongest kids, which is rare.
Yeah.
How much better technically?
A lot. He's got one of the best in the business coaching him. His strengths continue to develop, and then mentally he's so far beyond where he should be. You know, last year actually worked out perfect for him. We were able to redshirt him, but for a lot of the year he was really kind of our backup center, and so he got all the reps in practice like he was playing, and then just didn't play on Saturdays. We didn't think we were going to be able to keep the red shirt, and we were. So he got a ton of experience, even though it didn't happen on Saturdays, and that's paying off right now.
You got to go against a guy like Quentin Williams. I guess have a guy like Reed's probably one of the best kind of coaches. You got to have to go up against a guy like that.
Yeah, no, it'll be a good matchup. I mean, those guys, it won't be their last matchup. Yeah.
Lincoln, how do you have several weeks to get ready for the game? How do you balance? You got a creative offensive mind. You may want to add a few things, but you don't want to do too much, I guess. How do you balance that whole situation? Something new, but also kind of just blowing up at what you do well.
I just think it's at the end of the day, you know, what do you think you need to do to be successful against any given team? And so we've got our process that we go through to get to that point. This process, you have a little more time through this process, but we believe in what we do, how we do it, how we game plan, and so we don't really change that for anybody.
How's Marquise?
What's that?
Marquise.
He's doing good.
I got
We'll see. Yeah, I know.
Hey, I'm sorry, man. We guys, I'm sorry. I saw you Joe Consiglione, and he mentioned Big 12 almost summit back in the day when you were at Texas Tech and you had a mentor to come up with some coaches. Do you have any memories of just dealing with him, dealing with Bill McGrath as a 23-year-old kid, just getting into this business?
Honestly, I don't have a great answer for you. No, not really. I don't think I was a part of that. I don't think so. I might have been. That was a long time ago. It seems like. I just always, that program for me was always one of those you kind of looked at from afar, even when we were competing against them, saying, man, they do it the right way. Joe, Bob Stoops, the whole program was always kind of one of those for me that was a little bit on a pedestal, that you loved how they went about their business, how the kids played, the support that the program had. I mean, it was always one of those places that kind of in the back of your mind, you always, man, love the chance to coach there type place.
Let me fast forward a little bit since I was a little too far back. When you interviewed for the OC job here, based on who you're reading, you had a number of different options, so to speak, at the time. A lot of people wanted to hire you or were interested in you. How did perception meet reality with Oklahoma, and how did you decide that this was the right fit for you?
Man, honestly, first time Bob called me just to ask me if I was interested, I knew if he offered it to me, I would take it. I knew enough about the program through, again, the years competing against it, through Donnie Duncan, who was my mentor. I had enough of a feel for the program and knew that unless there was some big surprise on the interview, that if it was offered, that's what I was going to do.
What do you think of this quarterback battle? And it's too much made of it at times between Kyler and Tua.
Oh, it's just how it is. Everybody's always going to talk about the quarterbacks, and certainly they're going to have a big effect on it. But there's a lot of other, great matchups, and there's two great football teams going at it here. Quarterbacks are part of that, but there's a lot of other great players on both sides, and a lot of other guys that are going to have a hand in deciding the outcome of it.
How much will it be fun to watch your offensive line against that defensive line?
I hope it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a great matchup. I mean, there's no doubt. It's like going against Ohio State's, defensive line. What was it last year? When they were, as talented as you'll ever see across the board. It'll be a heavyweight fight. But that's what it should be in these games.
Is their D-line kind of like is that a similar comparison?
Oh, there's some definite differences. I mean, Ohio State didn't have a guy like 92. But, talent-wise across the board, very similar. I mean, elite, as good as you'll ever play against at this level. Both of them overall certainly had that and present a lot of challenges.
What is the key to developing guys that transfer into the program like Baker and Kyler did, as opposed to kids you get straight out of high school? Is it any different as far as keys to kind of getting them acclimated and
Yeah, I think your program. I think the culture of your program. This is a culture here that if you can come in and help this team win, you're going to be accepted. And there's not a kind of a feeling you out process. There's not that animosity. This place kind of has that, and guys understand that when they walk in the door. So players have been inviting, have taken the guys in that we've brought in, and those guys have come in and done a great job.
How do you create that sort of culture you described?
Oh, it's not easy. It's created over a lot of years and a lot of wins and a lot of trophies and those expectations when each guy walks in the door, player or coach.
Lincoln, does it resonate with you at all that you were hired by Bob Stoops to come here? Your first shot in the national championship, head coach will get the next season. Two of the really giants in the profession to go into.
Not right now. Maybe later on. You're just kind of so in the moment right now that it's just the next game. There's a little more around these, which there always is. Again, having been in two of these already, certainly helps. And but no, I mean it's you're just kind of trying to get your team ready and kind of have that singular focus right now. So that's what I've tried to keep. But I know I'm lucky to be where I'm at and lucky to be a part of something as special as this. Not many people get to do this.
We'll talk about standard. The guys who just signed when they come, who teaches them what the standard is? Coaching staff? Is it their teammates?
It's everybody. I think it's the coaching staff, it's teammates, it's strength coaches, it's trainers, it's managers, it's academic people. It's everybody, administration. I mean, you just kind of feel it. Like they didn't have to teach it really to me when I walked in. You kind of get, like when you walk past that banner that says you've won, however many championships, all these bowl wins, all the stuff, it kind of slaps you in the face. And if you don't get it, then you're not paying attention. And so, you can just feel it when you walk in the door. I don't know how to explain it other than having gone through it myself, but I think our players certainly feel that.
Is there any thought to right now what the standard is?
Oh, it's something we talk about a lot. I don't know that it's easily defined in a few words, but it's something that we talk about a lot. A lot of times it's relative to our actions and whether we're doing something good or we're doing something that's not to our standard, just talking about, make sure guys understand kind of where that line is and how important it is to uphold that. Exactly. Yeah, it's it's dynamic, but you can kind of apply it to anything these guys do.
Given the pool of recruits in South Florida, how beneficial is it to be playing in a national semifinal game here, sort of in these recruits' backyard?
Yeah, no, it's great for us. I mean, it's really fitting. I think the last 2 years, playing in the Rose Bowl last year on the West Coast, where we've signed so many great players, then we've got a number of, especially South Florida, but other kids from other parts of the state, all up and down the East Coast, that have either come here or thinking about coming here, and so that's great to get out. We do have a national brand, a national program, and so it's certainly, if we could pick where we'd want to play the 2 bowl games, we probably would have done it exactly like it's happened the last 2 years.
Lincoln, obviously you've had 2 Heisman winners the last 2 years, 2 different guys. It's been incredible. What's allowed you as a coach just to be working with the quarterbacks and help them be so successful?
Oh, I mean, we've had great players to work with there. We've had great players around them. We've had a team that's been capable of winning and has been able to do that. And so it's just been just a good setup, kind of like the perfect storm. It's been a good setup for those guys, good setup for our team, and we've been lucky to have 2 phenomenal players at that position that have really thrived.
What's it mean to be able to go back this afternoon to Marquise's stomping grounds and let him experience that? Obviously, it's special for him being so close to home.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out that way. We did it because it's, only about 5 miles from our hotel, so wasn't a sentimental choice for us. I'm thrilled that it worked out for him, and that'll be a cool, a cool part of it for him. But we're just trying to do what's best for our team.